This is Jarrod Horak. Welcome to my 9th video in my road to the 2023 Kentucky Oaks. I'm going to be covering all the points races on this road to the Oaks. And in this video, I'm going to be covering the Untapable Stakes. Now, through the first 8 races in this series, my top choices have 4 victories. I've shown a flat bet profit with my top choices, including wins in the last 3 points races. So I'm going for 4 in a row here. I've given out some exactas and trifectas in the recent weeks as well. Now, some of the videos that I'm going to be covering in this series next month, beginning on January 1st, the Santa Ynez Stakes from Santa Anita Park. On the 14th, the Busanda from Aqueduct. On the 21st, the Silver Bullet Day from Fairgrounds. A couple of races on January 28th from Oaklawn Park, the Martha Washington Stakes, and from Santa Anita Park, the Las Virgenes Stakes. And speaking of Santa Anita Park, if you're interested in my full card analysis from Santa Anita, you can head on over to the runawayhorse.com. You will find those full cards on my sales page. The opening day full card on December 26th, I will be covering that all the way through next June when that Santa Anita Park meet ends. And you can purchase individual full cards, weekly and weekend packages, and the entire meet at therunawayhorse.com on my sales page. Now let's get into the analysis of this video, and I'm going to be covering the 12th race at Fairgrounds on Monday, December 26th, 2022. It's going to be the $100,000 Untapable Stakes for 2-year-old fillies, 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track with the scheduled post time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The top 5 horses can earn Kentucky Oaks points, 10 points to the winner, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 point for finishing 5th. Number 1 in this race is Pretty Mischievous, 3-1, probably going to be your favorite in here, and she's 2 for 3 lifetime. She won back-to-back races to begin her career in sprint races. They were both at Churchill Downs, 6.5 furlong debut. She stalked from 5th, breaking from post 12, so she stalked wide, she took over, she won nicely by more than 2 lengths. Second time out, an optional claiming race at 7 furlongs on a sloppy track, and in that race she stalked the pace from the outside post, and again she won nicely by a bit less than 2 lengths that day. And then the Goldenrod Stakes last time, she ended up finishing in even third. She broke from the inside post, she was racing wide, she just stalked the pace, and she raced evenly. So she didn't have that kick like she did in her 2 sprints. So now they're going to try her around 2 turns again. We'll have to see if she can have a little bit of a better kick this time. She breaks from the rail again. We'll see if she ends up saving ground instead of tracking outside. But she seems to want to stalk outside. That seems to be her MO, at least through this point in her career. 2-Minute Drill is number 2, and this one's 8-1 morning line. This one is a daughter of Union Rags, and she did break her maiden in her 3rd start. That was at Churchill Downs, and that was on September 30th. And in that September 30th race, it was an 8-horse field. She stalked outside from post 7, and she won by a bit less than 3 lengths. Her last 2 starts in a stakes race at Keeneland, in a sprint race, she finished 6th, beaten 10 lengths. That was on October 28th. And then on December 2nd, a non-winner's 2 lifetime allowance race at Fairgrounds at this 1 mile and 70 yard distance. She chased from 2nd, and then she ended up just finishing in even 3rd. So she didn't really improve around 2 turns last time, and she is facing better company in this race. Hang the Moon is number 3, and she's 15-1 morning line. This one's a daughter of Uncle Mo, and they paid $200,000 for her, and she was nowhere in her debut. And in that debut race, it was a 12-horse field, and she sat back in 7th and just really didn't go anywhere. She dropped back, and then she ended up finishing 7th, beaten 10 lengths. Second time out was a different story. They put blinkers on, and she removed Lasix. And in that race, she stalked from 3rd at Laurel Park at 7 furlongs, and she won by a bit less than 3 lengths. So she ran a much better race second time out. The problem is she's going to have to run much faster than that even to compete with these. But I do like that 2 sprints to a route angle. Vahva is number 4. This one is a daughter of Gunrunner, and she's 7-2 morning line, and she's improved her speed ratings in all 3 starts. Her Saratoga debut at 6 furlongs, she was really no serious threat. She sat back in mid-pack, about 4 lengths back, and then she really couldn't make up any ground, and she ended up finishing 5th in a 6-horse field, beating 14 lengths. Second time out, she ran a much better race. She actually blew a clear lead that day, though. But in that second time out at 7 furlongs, she pressed from 3rd place. She took over, and she opened up by more than 4 lengths in the stretch, but she couldn't hold that lead. Take George Brianna was able to get past her, and Vahva was clearly second best, beaten a half length. In her 3rd start at 7 furlongs at Churchill Downs, after getting a little bit of a freshening from September 4th to November 26th, last time out, post 11 in a 12-horse field, Nice, comfortable trip. She didn't have the best start. She broke 11th, but she was able to get into a good stalking position, sitting in 4th, a couple lengths back. She kept steadily moving up, and then she took the lead and took over in the stretch. But instead of giving up the lead, she pulled clear. She went from 2.5 lengths clear to winning by 3 lengths when all was said and done. And the place finisher was well clear of the rest. And she was the 3-2 favorite that day. So this is a $280,000 purchase. She's bred to go at least this far. Luis Saez rode her in all 3 starts. He's going to ride back, and she should set a good stalking type trip on her first start around 2 turns and second start after a short layoff. Cotton Candy Annie is 15-1 morning line, and she's number 5, and she's finished in the top 3 in 5 of her 7 career starts, including back-to-back victories. She won a maiden claiming $50,000 at Churchill on November 2nd, and she was claimed out of that race. Armando Hernandez claimed her away from Kenny McPeak, and he put her in an optional claiming race at Churchill Downs in the slop at 1 mile last time. That's a 1-turn mile there, and in that race, she stalked the pace from mid-pack, and she was racing wide, and she got up to win by 3/4 of a length. Decent enough effort, but she's going to be facing better company, and I don't think that the distance should be that much of a problem because her maiden win was at 1 mile and a 16th around 2 turns. So obviously stretching back out in distance won't hurt her, and I think that she should work out a decent stalking trip, but I just think that she's going to have to certainly run faster. Number 6, the Alys Look. This one is on the improve for trainer Brad Cox. Her career debut, she broke from post 10 and then 11 horse field. That was at 7 furlongs at Keeneland, and she ended up passing quite a few horses. She was back in 11th place early, and she ended up finishing 3rd, beaten 6 lengths. But that was a clear show finish there. The top 2 were closely together. She wasn't close to those 2, beaten 6 lengths, but she was well clear, almost 3 lengths clear of the 4th place finisher. Second time out, she caught the slop, didn't seem to like the slop at all. She stalked outside. She was in a good position, but she ended up weakening. She finished 7th, beaten 15 lengths. Last time she caught a fast track at this course and distance on December 1st, and in that race, she got out there and she controlled the pace, and she just kept on going. She was widening from a half-length lead to a length, and then she opened up by 5 and then finished it off with a 7-length victory. This one's a $60,000 daughter of Connect for trainer Brad Cox. Florian Giroux was aboard in all the starts, and he rides back, and she should be a forwardly placed factor. All About Me is one that should impact the pace as well. She's 1 for 7, and she's finished 2nd or 3rd 5 times, so she certainly likes hitting the board. She broke her maiden on turf at 1 mile and a 16th. That was at Delaware Park on September 28th. First start against winners on turf at Keeneland, set the pace, weakened to 4th, moved back to the main track in her last start, and she set the pace at Fairgrounds at this 1 mile and 70-yard distance, and she finished 2nd there. So she's going to impact the pace. She's run well in all 4 of her starts on the main track with 4 underneath finishes, but like I said, her maiden win was on turf. She's going to impact the pace for sure. She's going to need to run a bit faster, and she could have a little bit of company up front. One of the horses that could impact the pace is number 8, Just Like Magic, and she's 15-1 morning line. She was an even 4th in her debut, 5.5 furlongs at Churchill. She chased and just didn't have a punch in the stretch. Second time out, 6 furlongs. She pressed, she took the lead, she held on by 3/4 of a length, stretched her out in distance, caught the slop last time in a 1-turn mile at Churchill on November 27th. Cotton Candy Annie won that one. This one finished 5th after stalking the pace. So I think second start after a layoff, they're going to want to try to get her involved because her best race with that maiden win, she was right up there at 6 furlongs from the opening bell, and I think that that's what they're going to want to try to do in here. Hayunevano is the next one, and this one is 10-1 morning line for trainer Sam David Jr. This one's a daughter of Golden Sense, and she was an even 3rd in her debut. Miss Shipman beat her there, and she is in this race. And then this filly was stretched out from 5.5 furlongs after catching the slop in the debut to a fast track local race at 1 mile and a 16th, and she wired the field last time. Looking good winning that one. She's going to have to run a bit quicker. She's going to face more pace pressure. She was really controlling the pace there. So there's some others in here with better pace ratings, so she's going to have to run faster early and then faster late as well. But she did run better, and it's a good sign that she improved around 2 turns. Miss Shipman will round out the field, and she was 3rd in her debut. That was a turf sprint at Kentucky Downs, and she was way back early. She was 14 lengths back, and she rallied to finish 3rd, beaten a length and 3/4. Second time out, 7 furlongs on dirt at Keeneland. She was 9th, beaten 16 lengths after pressing the pace. And then last time, 5.5 furlongs in the slop, outside post. She was racing wide, and she was able to get up and win by a neck. So maybe the the wet track was to her liking last time, because she certainly ran much faster than she did in her first 2 starts. So we'll see what she can do on a fast track. It is expected to be a fast track. Sunny skies are expected. It's been dry. It's going to be dry a few days before the 26th, and then it's supposed to be dry on the 26th. So we're definitely looking at this point at a fast track. So looking at the overall composition of this field, I think the pace should be honest in here. There's some different ways you can go, but I'm going to go with number 4, Vahva, as my top choice. I like the improvement that she has shown from all 3 starts. That speed figure really jumped up from start 1 to 2, and then it jumped up again last time. And I like the fact that even though she lost and blew a clear lead in the stretch at 7 furlongs at Churchill at Saratoga on September 4th, she really finished it off nicely at Churchill at that same distance on November 26th. And she earned a quality late pace rating that day. So if she can stalk the pace like she did last time out in the clear, and she can get that extra distance of this race, I think there's no reason why she can't jump up and win this one. She's already the fastest horse on speed ratings based on that last victory. And I will make, for my second choice in here, I'll go with the Brad Cox trainee. That will be number 6, the Alys Look. She should impact the pace. I like that she ran such a good race at this course and distance on a fast track last time out. I'll round it out my top 3 with Prince, Pretty Mischievous. The inside post, she won those 2 sprint races. She was even in her first route. Let's see if she can show a little bit more in her second start around 2 turns. So how I will play this race is I'll make a win wager on number 4, Vahva, play an exacta, the 4 over the 1-6, and then another exacta with the 1-6 over the 4. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content, and that will wrap up this Kentucky Oaks prep. I'll be back, and I'm going to look for Fairgrounds. They're going to be running the Gun Runner Stakes on the road to the Kentucky Derby for the 26th, and that will be my next video. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel for that one, and until I see you next time, good luck at the races.